This is special COVID-19 coverage on Your Health, a podcast of the Integrated Health and Social Services University Network for West Central Montreal.
Hi there and welcome to another episode of the Your Health podcast. I'm your host, Shaun McMahon. Well, summer's winding down and look at that, there's another school year upon us. And routines are about to change at a time that's been anything but routine, am I right? The last few months have been an extraordinary time for everybody with uncertainty around every corner. And, aside from the physical demands of COVID-19, a lot of the discussion's been about mental health. And while us grown-ups are doing our very best to just keep it together sometimes, parents of young children are faced with trying to help their little ones make sense of their emotions. And that is not an easy task. So enter two Montreal moms, Claudia Amato and Jennifer Nozzolillo. Claudia is a social media manager by day. Jennifer is a graphic designer. Well, you can add a children's book author and illustrator, respectively, to their CVs. They wrote a beautiful new book called Stay Safe, Little One, a story about a big virus and many little warriors. Claudia, Jennifer, thanks so much for taking the time to join us on the podcast. How are you?
Hi, Shaun. Good, thanks. How are you?
Doing great. Claudia, let me begin with you because I've got two little ones at home, and it's been tough at times, to try to explain a lot of this to them. I've got one, just starting school as well, so life adjustments all around, right? We've chosen to just be honest with them as much as possible. And I know you've got three at home and one is starting school too. How have you handled this with your family? And do you hope that this book that you wrote so beautifully will maybe help to start the conversation for parents and kids and maybe alleviate some of the fears?
Yeah, we usually go the honesty route in our house too. My kids were kind of sitting right alongside me when we watched every press conference. Honestly, I think at a certain point it was a little bit overwhelming and we kind of had to turn off the TV and try to approach this in a different way and help them work through their emotions and think about this as something that if we have the right habits and keep safe, stay home, do all the things that we're meant to do when there are germs around us in any context, like wash our hands and things like that, then we can all stay safe and that will be okay. So, with the school year starting, all of this bears repeating for the kids, and we do need to make sure that they know all of this information, but they're not overwhelmed by it, and they feel that this is something that they can manage and that we can handle all together.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Jennifer, you did the illustrations for this book and did a wonderful job, I have to tell you. Just beautiful stuff. What's the family dynamic been like for you? How many kids you got running around your place?
I also have three kids, so
okay.
The oldest will be 7 soon, 5 and 2. My little one doesn't know what's happening, but my eldest, I have to keep repeating, guys, there's a book. Look, let's read it over and over and until they get it. But they're kids, and it's been tough to constantly repeat, and we have to really just prepare them.
I guess the tricky thing is that every kid is different. Every family is different. Every kid is different. And that's what I love about this book is that at least it's a starting point. And the book's available right now on Amazon. What I love about this is that the proceeds are actually going to the Jewish General Hospital Foundation to help with the COVID relief effort. Claudia, what made you want to contribute to that specific cause?
Well, first off, we wanted to make sure that we were supporting some local charity. And especially when we started to see the numbers out of Montreal and how hard hit our own backyard was. I live in RDP, and actually our borough was very badly affected as well. So we just wanted to keep it local. And then when we looked into the charity and saw how multidimensional it was and how much they actually did, from helping the patients themselves who are dealing with COVID to also helping the frontline workers that are dealing with patients who have COVID. It was just a perfect foundation. It did everything that we could possibly want a foundation to do when you're tackling COVID. So we've been very lucky to be able to work with a foundation like yours.
Oh, that's really great to hear. And it's true, the JGH Foundation has been tremendous through all of this. But let's face it, still lots of work to be done, right? Now listen, I've had a chance to read the book and it is truly wonderful. It is sweet and easy to understand for kids and super colorful, but I can only imagine this was a lot of work to put together. And you guys are busy, of course, between jobs and the families. Jen, did you ever think that amidst all of that, you'd be able to add children's book illustrator to your CV?
I've always dreamed of this, and I always told my mom and my husband, okay, one day, and that day, kind of never came because, you get so busy with life. And then one day did come because Claudia wrote to me and she asked me to illustrate the book, and I jumped at it and I said, yeah, this is wonderful. So I'm so happy she did, and I think it's been such a great ride. I love it. I think we make a really good team. It's a really proud creative piece, I think, for us. I think it's wonderful, and maybe more to come.
Oh, yeah, that's what we like to call a tease in the business right there. That's there's hopefully not with another pandemic as the reason for it, of course. You know?
For sure. That will not be the next topic.
Good. Listen, before we let you go, Claudia, we mentioned that it's available, the book, on Amazon.ca. Are there any physical locations that we can go pick up the book in and around Montreal, if that's where folks are listening?
Yes, so we have a number of stores where you can find the book. Firstly, you can, if you're in the East End, come to Décor en Folie, which is on Maurice Duplessis. There's a couple of copies of the book there in English, which you can pick up. We also have some books at Les Essentiels COVID, which is a neat little organization run by students who are actually donating profits to their own charity with respect to COVID-19. So that is actually on Sherbrooke West, and it's called Les Essentiels COVID. You can pick up the book there, and shortly it will be available at Indigo at the Quartier 1030 complex. And we're working on getting it at some chapters in Indigo in the Ottawa-Gatineau region, so that's still to come. If you add us on Facebook or Instagram, the page is Stay Safe Little One, and you can see all of the upcoming news and about where our book will be featured, which physical locations you can pick it up in, and when all the languages will be released.
Amazing. Claudia Amato, Jennifer Nozzolillo, congrats on this book. I hope it sells a ton of copies and raises a ton of money. Stay Safe Little One, a story about a big virus and many little warriors. All the best to you both and to your families. Thanks for taking the time to join us on the Your Health podcast. Stay safe, you guys.
Thank you. Take care.
You've been listening to special COVID-19 coverage on Your Health, a podcast of the Integrated Health and Social Services University Network for West Central Montreal. Don't forget to subscribe at CIUSWestCentral.ca/podcast or on your favorite podcast platform.